According to some nominalistic theories regarding properties, there is no difference between having a heart or having kidneys. But that sounds odd, right? Because they are clearly different properties, aren't they? Hearts and kidneys have very different functions, but this is commonly referred to as the problem of coextensiveness. David Lewis had an ingenious solution to this problem. On this channel, I've been talking quite a lot about universalist theories regarding properties. According to these theories, there are some universal things that are exactly the same and instantiated at different places in time and space. In contrast to these theories, we have nominalism, which claims that there are no such things as universals. Everything is just labels or names that we humans have invented to talk about things. The word nominalism is derived from the Latin word nomen, which simply means name. Commonly, the British medieval philosopher William of Okam is considered to be the first nominalist. He advises us to utilize Occam's razor and remove universals from our ontology, since we don't need them. But denying that there are universals doesn't necessarily mean a denial of properties. Nominalistic properties are not abstract entities that are exactly the same and shared amongst particular things, but rather a claim that the only thing that exists is concrete particular instantiations of properties. Some nominalistic theories also claim that there is a primitive relation of resemblances among these properties. But this makes sense, right? If we have two human beings like me and Lily James, we resemble each other in some ways, but not in others. We're both composed of atoms, we both have heads, hands, and we both love each other. Well, maybe not. But these similarities are not objective in any sense. Lily and I are distinct persons because we differ as well. She is a beautiful British actress, and I am an average-looking Swedish YouTube philosopher. Oh well, but just because we resemble each other in certain respects doesn't mean we're part of the same universal. We're just two different instantiations of different properties that resemble each other in some respects. Nominalism became even more popular with the usage of set theory, because with sets, you can then give a clear definition of any property as the set of all its instances. For instance, the property of being a human is defined as the set of all humans who have existed, who exist, and will exist in the future. This is also quite sensible, right? Because it sort of becomes relative as well. If we take the property of being a chair, some people might call things chairs where I would call it a stool. But the property of being a chair is the set of all things that an individual deems to qualify as a chair. The property of being a chair isn't objective in any sense. But there is a big problem with the set theoretical approach. How do we distinguish properties that always coexist with each other? For instance, it is the case that all animals with hearts also have kidneys. So the set of all animals with hearts is the same set as the set of all animals with kidneys. In other words, there is no natural animal in the world that only possesses a heart and not a kidney, or vice versa. A set is always identified with its members. So if two different sets have exactly the same members, they are, in reality, the same set. For instance, the set of 1, 2, 3, 4 and the set of 4, 3, 2, 1 is in reality the same set. Hence, the property of having a heart and the property of having kidneys becomes the same property through this theory. But that is absurd. We cannot have a theory that equates two properties which we know to be distinct. The philosopher David Lewis had an ingenious but simple solution to this problem through the usage of possible worlds. Because if we have possible worlds, it simply is the case that there are worlds where animals have kidneys but not hearts, and vice versa. Our set theory's scope should, in other words, be expanded to quantify over possible worlds. So the set of donkeys include not only all donkeys within our world, but all otherworldly donkeys as well. Then the set of all animals with kidneys and the set of all animals with hearts will have different members. Hence, the properties will differ. So here we have a nominalistic theory that succeeds in differentiating all properties that we want, at the price of including every possible world within our ontology. I don't know, maybe it's more sensible to postulate universals instead of possibilia. Or what do you think? But there are many more reasons to postulate possible worlds, and if you want to know more about these, then I suggest you checking out this video here.